I think I'm live. I need to get my material up here. Yeah. Hi. Let me get my script up here and we will proceed. Here we are. Some things are like riding a bicycle that you remember easily, you don't forget. Some things it kind of made me forget a little bit. And I forgot to put my script up here before I clicked the live button. So, hi there, and welcome to this day in history for May 21st. May 21st is the 141st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 142nd in leap years, with 224 days remaining to the end of the year. We are live today, so we won't have subtitles or pictures because I don't know how to do that on live yet. I think you can do it with Streamlabs, but I couldn't quite figure that one out. So it's just you and me and Google Chrome and YouTube. So, but since we are live, I was able to pull up today's a word of the day, a word a day for today, which is Pooh-bah. Pooh-bah. Yes, that's a real word. Pooh-bah is a noun that means a person who holds high office or has great influence, a pompous, self-important person, or a person holding many offices or positions of power. Pooh-bah is an eponym, which means it's a word coined after someone's name. And this one comes after Pooh-bah, who was a fictional government official in Gilbert and Sullivan's 1885 operetta, The Mikado. In this work, Pooh-bah held all the offices of state except Lord High Executioner, and was also known as the Lord High Everything Else. Earliest documented use of the term Pooh-bah is 1886. Pooh-bah. Well, this is the birthday of German painter, engraver, and mathematician Albrecht Dürer, born May 21st, 1471. Love his work. Beautiful work, Albrecht Dürer. On May 21st, 1554, Queen Mary I granted a royal charter to Derby School as a grammar school for boys in Derby, England. The Derby School was actually first founded in about 1160, the year 1160, and operated continuously until about the mid-1500s, when it was closed for a while between 1536 and 1541. Mary issued this royal charter then in 1554. The Derby School continued on as a grammar school for boys, became coeducational in 1972, and Derby School is now a private school. And we've talked about Mary before. She was the only child of Henri VIII and his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, to survive to adulthood. She was the first child of that marriage to survive to adulthood. She was the only child of that marriage to survive to adulthood. All right, Catherine of Aragon. Okay, so Mary was a staunch Catholic and came to be known as Bloody Mary because of her persecution of religious dissenters and her efforts to refer what is known as the English Reformation and restore the country to a Catholic religion. But here's a good thing that she did, issuing this royal charter for the Derby School. This is the birthday of toll and tax collector turned artist, Henri Rousseau, born May 21st, 1844. He began painting for real in his early 40s. Not everyone loved his work, but he did develop a following to the point that he was able to retire from tax collecting at the age of 49 and work on his art full time, the dream of most artists I've ever known. Rousseau was entirely self-taught, and his work can be classified as post-impressionism, Naive art and primitivism. Henri Rousseau lived to the age of 66. Pardon me, I'm just going to take a sip of coffee here. All righty. This is the birthday of Hans Berger, born May 21st, 1873. He was a German neurologist, psychiatrist, and academic, perhaps best known as the inventor of electroencephalography. That's a mouthful. In fact, he gave it its name, electroencephalography. Also known as EEG, this is a method of observing and recording electrical activity in the brain. The American Red Cross was established by Clara Barton in Washington, D.C. on May 21st, 1881. And I'm sure you probably know that the Red Cross is a humanitarian organization that provides emergency assistance, disaster relief, and disaster preparedness education in the United States. There was a big fire in Atlanta, Georgia on May 21st, 1917, known as the Great Fire of Atlanta of 1917. Cost $5.5 million in damages, destroyed about 300 acres, including 2,000 homes, buildings, and churches, and displaced about 10,000 people. All that, and the only fatality was due to a heart attack. That's pretty good. Charles Lindbergh arrived in Paris, France, completing the world's first solo nonstop flight across the Atlantic Ocean on May 21st, 1927. And bad weather forced Amelia Earhart to land in a pasture in Derry, Northern Ireland on May 21st, 1932, as she became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. On May 21st, 1934, Oskaloosa, Iowa, became the first municipality in the United States to fingerprint all of its citizens. May 21st, 1946, physicist Louis Slotin was fatally irradiated in a criticality incident during an experiment that came to be known with what came to be known as the Demon Core at Los Alamos National Laboratory. There's a bunch of big fancy words there to say that he was exposed to radiation that caused his death. The Demon Core was a ball about 3.5 inches big, about 3.5 inches big. So not very big at all. A little bit bigger than a baseball, but smaller than a softball. This was about a 14-pound sphere of plutonium. A criticality incident is an uncontrolled nuclear fission chain reaction or a self-propagating series of reactions. The Demon Core was created for use in a possible third nuclear weapon against Japan in the 1940s, but Japan surrendered, so they didn't need that third bomb. Decided to use it for testing instead. Lewis was the second scientist to die from radiation poisoning after working with this ball of plutonium, the first one being Harry Daghlian, who died in August of the previous year. There is, of course, more to that story, and it's pretty interesting, but maybe we can put that on the back burner for another time. Ringling brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus, performed their final show at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum on May 21st, 2017. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. I always do. As always, links to my sources are included in the show notes. There is a playlist for my This Day in History videos, and I'll put a link to that It'll either be in that corner or that corner, one of those corners, along with the link to last year's episode for May 21st. We don't have any images today or outro music, so we'll leave the attribution for that off. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email messaging or social media. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Now we look for the thank you very much button. And thank you very much. Hey, have a beautiful Friday, okay?